Let's talk about it. Why job boards suck. I am unequivocally unapologetic about why job boards are so bad. Most people spend a crazy amount of time using job boards and they really, really don't do a great job. So, when you are on a job board, you are looped in with all of the other competition. You are often instantly filtered out. You are almost always never seen by a human because of applicant tracking systems. You have a very low, if not zero, response rate. And there is a flood of ghost jobs that exist within these job boards. Instant apply ruined this for all job boards, but honestly, it's a thing, and you are getting lost amongst so many other applications. There's got to be a better way to do this. I will show as we get further into the course what that looks like. But honestly, if you are using instant apply, stop. Look at the difference between a role that has instant apply and a role that does not. Everybody wants to be able to do the one click apply because it requires next to nothing in terms of effort, but it also means that you're going to get a ton more people that are also applying. That is just the nature of the game. Path of least resistance, meaning more people are not putting time, effort, and energy into something they feel they can do with one click. Did you even know that you're being filtered out? It is absolutely true. So, this is a screenshot of my LinkedIn application tracking system. LinkedIn has used its own decisive action to filter out people that actually were totally relevant for the particular job that I posted. This means that you may be the perfect person with all the right background information, and maybe because you have a job title that doesn't match the current one, or your location is a different one, or a thousand other variables, they decided not to show you and they put you amongst the not a fit people. It is baffling, but it's absolutely true. Please make sure that you are not spending a crazy amount of time on Indeed, LinkedIn, and any other auto apply platform because this will potentially be you. HR is not your friend. I am so sorry, but also not sorry. This is why we don't hear back. They're the least technical department within any organization. They have very limited knowledge of not only your industry, but the function that you're in. They have zero understanding of your work, especially if you're in some type of technical field. They are the most disorganized people I've ever come across. They're lazy. Again, sorry, not sorry. They're spread really thin, to be honest, and they're super inefficient. This comes down to a very frustrating factor, which is you need to rely on these people in order to get into a conversation or an interview with somebody within the organization that is looking to hire. The only other way to do it is to go around them, and we will go over that. The stories I could tell about this, whether it is giving my information to other applicants who then copied my test project, sending the wrong calendar invite so that I did not show up because it was sent to a Hotmail account, to you name it, and they have screwed up some aspect of the job. You need to stay on these people because unfortunately, they're the ones that need to help you along the way. It is incredibly frustrating. I get it. We've all been there. HR posts on 1 to 2 job boards usually. So that means that they're not posting on 50 different job boards and those are being picked up by scrapers and crawlers. Usually people pick their favorite and they go with that one consistently. So they are often using an applicant tracking system, an ATS, that then pushes the job posting onto other platforms. Many of them don't know that that is an additional function that they have to hit. So often it's sat on these job boards and they're like, I don't understand. We don't have a lot of applicants. And it's like, well, you didn't obviously publish this to a broader spectrum of job boards. Many HR departments do everything entirely manually. So it's very easy for not only the application, but you as an applicant to get lost. Do companies post fake jobs? Yep, you bet. They're called ghost jobs. I call them fake jobs. Everybody has a different name for them. Why would they do that? Why would they post a job they have zero intention of ever hiring for? Well, one is, as a marketer, I've done this in order to get more followers. It's not a nice thing, but it is a really easy way of showing momentum of your brand on certain social media platforms, i.e., LinkedIn. It is a great way to get traffic, i.e., it's not like the most ethical, but it does work and it does get you more backlinks from high value websites. It is a really nice way of researching different talent. So, understanding what's out there before you actually hire, or understanding what types of people would potentially be able to join the team without ever having an intention of hiring, is important. It is a requirement in some HR departments to basically say, hey, we need to stack a lot of these job postings in order to have our shareholders think we look good or to keep morale up to show that we're always growing. Sometimes people use these for free consulting. I've had that happen to me numerous times where there was zero intention of hiring, there was no team. It was an early stage founder, if not two founders, that were basically looking for free consulting. And I hate that, but hey, that's the game, and I fell for it. Sometimes it's a quota. There's goals and requirements of every HR department to post X amount of times per day, per week, per month. Honestly, it's more per month, but you get the idea. And sometimes it's like a fear tactic. So we want to put a few different jobs out there that may give people the impression that, hey, if you don't buckle up and do your work, we'll replace you with somebody else. It's a thing. Let's look at some crazy statistics and numbers from fake jobs. You can pause this. I'm going to read through them real quick. The percent of companies that have admitted to posting ghost jobs, the percent of job adverts that are fake, and the percent of recruiters that say 3/4 of their current job announcements aren't genuine. Yeah. 81% of companies admitted to posting fake jobs. 36% of job adverts are probably fake. 17% of recruiters say 3/4 of their job announcements aren't genuine. That's wild, right? So just take it with a grain of salt when you're using job boards. I think there's so many other people that kind of echo this sentiment. I chose one of many, many videos because people are obviously very frustrated. It affects not only their time, but their self worth. So, some surprising thoughts on ghost jobs. Pause, watch it real quick. Just so we're on the same page, and I felt it was necessary to include this. Why do these things exist, and why do ghost jobs even come out of the mix? And I always encourage people, like, dumb it down to its simplest parts and follow the money. So, job board publishes a role. That means money for the job board. They get a pay per click situation. So, that's money for the job boards. Maybe they're trying to train their data. I didn't even include that one. That's money for the job boards. If you get your job featured on a job board, that's money for the job boards. Add it to the newsletter that goes out to their millions of subscribers. That's more money for the job board. Social media posts that highlights that specific role, money for the job boards. Add a role to an additional sub-site to their network, money for the job boards. Honestly, it's so frustrating, but if you follow the money, you'll figure out very quickly that there is an angle to everything, and that's why job boards exist, not because they do a great job. How do external recruiters work? Well, honestly, it's a matter of following the money, but let's just quickly go through it. There's two different types of recruiters. There's an independent one. There's recruiters that are within a recruiting company. Often they find a job description and then they post the role. They may or may not have a pre-existing relationship, so they want to build up a bunch of resumes before then presenting them to the client. The best thing that you can do is immediately find the client, although it can be difficult because obviously they're going to hide the information and you have to get clever with searching. Recruiter interviews are a giant frustrating waste of time, but you have to go through them because ultimately maybe there's an opportunity there. I've gotten two different roles via a recruiter, and yes, it's frustrating. The idea is that the recruiter is then packaging the different candidates, sending them along, and then the recruiter gets an incentive when that role gets filled. So they may get an instant bonus or they may get a placement award after 90 days, which is anywhere from on the low end $1,000, on the high end 50K, really just depends. And then in many situations, they have a worked out deal where they get 20% of the monthly salary of the employee for either a year, for a lifetime, for 5 years. It really just depends. It is a crazy, crazy racket when you think about it. And I could go on for days, but yeah. I pulled a nice little video of somebody also explaining why job boards are a scam, and they more or less explain it as it relates directly to money. So, again, external validation on this, but just know that job boards are not the end all be all. So, please stop focusing 100% on job boards as your next way of getting a job. That's why there's a whole bunch of other stuff that we're going to go into as related to this course.